Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about planning for my new year, which it is pretty late, but a lot of these things I already kind of had in mind and I'm just now announcing them to the world. So I'm going to do this in the form of ins and outs, since it's definitely something that's like kind of trending and I feel like I have a lot to say on the topic, and I'm also going to list some goals that I have for 2024. So stay tuned for the video. Okay guys, so first in for this year was something I actually forgot to talk about in my habits video. Well, it's kind of forgot. I wanted to make it 10, so it's kind of more catchy. And this is something I excluded, but I probably would have included it inside like something else had I remembered. Okay, so this little in is cold showers. I actually basically used to exclusively take warm showers, but I've always wanted to try cold showers. There are a couple times in my life where I would maybe go for a week of doing cold showers, but I could never do it for very long. But I think how I'm implementing this is I shower at both night and day. So I really like the feeling of warm showers. I think most people do. So completely having that out of my life would be kind of bad, since then I might just randomly take a warm shower and be like, oh my god, I miss this so much, and then only take warm showers. So what I've been doing is I take showers at day and night. What am I saying? At morning and in the evening. So I take my morning shower cold and my evening shower warm, and that's how I'm getting in those cold showers while also still getting some warm ones in. And I feel like cold showers are just really a good thing to do, since they kind of test your mental toughness. I feel like being able to just tell yourself 3, 2, 1 and then jump in cold water is just so powerful. And how I see it honestly is I always tell myself you have to prove that you're capable of doing this. That's how I make myself go into the cold water. I'm you have to prove it to yourself, you know? Before we continue with the video, guys, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel, because according to YouTube, which I say the same thing every time, but I don't care, I think I'm making a very good point, only 9.6% of my viewers are subscribed, which is very disheartening to me. And we're currently at 95 subscribers, which is a big improvement, I will say. Almost 100 subscribers. But if the other percentage of you guys subscribe, the other 90.4 of you, we would go up to 989.5, well, 990 subscribers, which is basically 1,000 subscribers. So that would be super hype. Next in, which I'm very surprised I didn't talk about this in my habits video, is meditating. And I did kind of a bad job of meditating last year because I didn't wake up early enough for me to consistently have time to do it. And I literally would play these driving meditations while I was in the car and do those. And they were definitely good, but I want to actually set aside time to properly meditate every day, even if it's 5 minutes, which is what I've been doing. I used to have a really big meditation era, maybe kind of during COVID. So I want to get back into it, since I feel like it's just a really good habit to have, and it's definitely good for your mental health. So kind of starting slowly, I might start meditating for longer stretches of time later in the year. I just want to keep myself consistent with it. My third in for this year is therapy. So this is something that has been a little tricky in my life, since I've had maybe 4 therapists before, but each of them I only had for 1 appointment, because there's the first one, I just didn't like her. The second one, I liked him, but he retired the next week. The third one, no, that was the third one. The second one, I was okay with her, but she had no availability. And then the last one, I just really didn't like her. So it was online. So I might try BetterHelp. I don't know. I just need to find a therapist, and I'm not even in a mentally unhealthy state, broadly. I do have my times, honestly, the past day has been a little bit rough on me, but overall, I'm doing very good. It's just there's a lot of things that have happened to me in the past year that I talk about them to my friends, but I just need to debrief them with a therapist, I feel like. So that's part of the reason it's one of my ins for this year. So the next in, this number 4, it's kind of more of a abstract thing, but I wanted to put it in here. Just being opportunistic. So this is something I definitely implemented a lot last year and kind of this year too. But by this I just mean like chasing every opportunity. Now there are limits. Like I think you should like not apply to like 10 or 15 summer programs just to apply. But at the same time, I think it's very important to put yourself out there as much as you can, and you have to go out on your own and research opportunities. So for me, that would be like looking up summer programs, looking up scholarships, doing things like that. And that's something I just want to continue, because I mean, there have been times where I've been disheartened by the results of it. I've been like, oh, I didn't get like this scholarship and I felt bad about it, or I didn't get this like in-person program. It happens. So I think the biggest lesson of this though is like, put yourself out there as much as you can, and failures aren't bad, because like the more failures you have, the more wins you have. Like it's sometimes you're lucky and you only get a streak of wins in your life, but if you have a lot of failures because you've been putting yourself out there, you're probably gonna have more wins too than had you not just like put yourself out there to the same extent. So like what I'm saying is that with wins comes failure, and it's just a natural part of life, and you shouldn't be too hard on yourself for it. Number 5 in my ins list is hobbies. So this is definitely something I'm trying to cultivate more this year. I've heard a lot of people talking about this too, just that 2024 is a very like good year for hobbies, and for me specifically creativity, which kind of the same thing. But how I see this is, for example, I want to get more into my content creation. I want to like learn different things I can do with editing. I want to try singing more. It's just different things like that, that it's not necessarily something that it's like would look good on my resume, but just something I want to do for fun. I think that's definitely an in for me this year, since I heavily neglected that side of myself last year just because I was like really trying to be on the grind. But now that my college applications are over, I think I can afford to embrace that side of myself, and it's something I definitely want to embrace in second semester, or the second semester of this year, which is my first semester of college. My 6th and last in for this video is home cooked meals. I did hint this a little bit in my habits video, but or no, it was my glow up routine video. I just want to cook more for myself this year. I never had time last year, so I would either have like my mom cook, or in the cases where she couldn't, I would just order out. But I want to actually cook for myself more and like learn different recipes. It's just like, I think it's a very healthy thing to do, and I want to start investing in that part of myself. And also because when I'm an adult, I'm gonna need to do it anyway, and I need to figure out how I can like make sure I have enough time to cook for myself, you know, because my excuse is always I don't have the time. But there's gonna be a point where no one is gonna be able to cook for me, so it's either I go broke by eating out every day, or I learn to make time for cooking for myself. So now we're gonna move on to the outs section of this video, which I'm very excited for. There's a lot of things that happened in my 2023 that I think I just need to be done with, and I think if I get rid of these things, my 2024 will go a lot better. So my first out for this year is delutionships and being obsessed over other people and thinking about other people. So guys, for 2024, we need to be in our self-obsessed eras, or at least that's what I've been telling myself. So I mean, in 2023, I had so many like delutionships and people I would just think about so much, even like friends that I would just like think about like my friendship with them. And while that's all of that is nice, it can definitely go overboard. So this year I'm trying to put that attention on myself instead of other people, because I think often there's an extent when you start thinking about, oh, other people see me, and start comparing yourself to other people in someone else's lives, and you have to realize like you are the main character of your life. So like you shouldn't focus more of your thoughts on other people instead of yourself. So for this year, I mean, it kind of is the other side of the coin, where the in would be focusing on yourself, but yeah, it's gonna be away with delusionships and away with obsessing over other people, and more with focusing that attention back on myself because I deserve it. So my second out for this year is caring about what other people think. And this is a big one for me because a lot of times whenever I'm doing something embarrassing, I might just get a little bit of anxiety. Like, for example, in my kind of like orchestra trip earlier today, I was in a hotel, and when I woke up, I went to the gym, and I was reading Pride and Prejudice on my iPad while I was running on the treadmill, since I like doing two things at once. And I was like, what if someone walks in? It was the same thing when I was doing yoga in that room. I was like, is someone gonna judge me? And I think the kind of like resounding message of this year that I'm telling myself is, whenever I'm in a situation where I'm scared of being judged, I just tell myself I don't care about what other people think about me. And I think it's really powerful actually to be in that headspace where you are doing things that embarrass you. That's another thing about this. Like, I think I'm more often putting myself in these situations where I'm doing something embarrassing. Like, for example, there's this piece in one of our concerts where we like scream in the middle, and I'd never done it before because I was always so embarrassed. But then I was just like going all out on the last time we played it, and I was like, I don't care what other people think about me. Like, I shouldn't let my fear of other people judging me get in the way of me doing what I really want to try out, you know? So my third and final out for this video, I should have come up with more outs, but I could just not think of any, is going on my phone first thing in the morning. This is something I did so much last year, and I'm starting to kick the habit a little bit by putting my phone downstairs instead of upstairs where my bedroom is. And I'm not going on it first thing in the morning. Sometimes I'll go on it like a bit in the morning, but now the current state of things that's enabling me is I use my iPad for my alarm instead, so I don't have my phone to go on, but my iPad is Instagram because that's where I post my practice account videos from. So I need to actually get rid of it, or I think what I'm gonna do is like change my Instagram password on, so like I can't log into Instagram on my iPad and scroll in the morning. So that's my plan. I'm just trying to really kick that habit, since I remember there were times last year where I would get on my phone before I got up and I would spend literally an hour just on my phone. And this year I'm just like, that's unacceptable. I left my phone downstairs, so I'm not enabling that behavior. The only thing I really use my electronics for now in the morning is like listening to music and putting on good playlists. So yeah, that's my last out. Okay, so now we're moving on to the goals section of this video. This is just another little planning thing I wanted to include, since I feel like I'm a pretty goal-oriented person, and I mentioned taking advantage of opportunities earlier in the video. So I would say the difference between this and my ins is my ins are kind of more like systems, like different things I'm specifically doing in order to get to goals, and these goals are just like things that I want to have, and I'm not gonna really talk about my systems for getting there. Just sometimes you have to dream big, you know? So for my first few goals, I'm actually gonna batch these together because these are all things that I don't have that much control over. And the first one is getting an NYUSA, which I'm gonna find out super soon. It's just a huge goal of mine, so I'll update you guys definitely on how that goes. I mean, well, I was gonna say this video might be out by the time it comes out, but it probably won't come out by the time this video comes out if I upload it tomorrow. So that's my big goal. I really want to go back there. I really enjoyed NYU too, so NYUSA is just such a dream. So that's definitely a huge goal. It's just I already submitted out my audition, so I can't really do anything to work towards that goal other than wait now. My next goal in this category is college, and specifically just like getting in the universities I applied to. So this is like, there's really so many goals under this one. I can read you guys my college list. It is pretty long. I'm waiting on Yale, Vanderbilt, Boston University, Northeastern, MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Chicago, Cornell, Brown, Duke, UPenn, and Northwestern. So we'll see how this goes. That's like another thing where the only two aspects of my application that I have left for that is really like update letters and interviews. And some of my interviews I've already done. So that's also something where there's not that much control in it. And like there's very little I can do about it now. And the next and last goal in this category is scholarships. So, there's something I forgot, but I'll add that. So I guess this is the second to last goal in this category. So I'm just applying to quite a few, it's like outside funding scholarships, and this one actually has a decent amount of control over it since I haven't like submitted any applications, or there might have been a couple, but like most of them I still have yet to submit. So there is time for me to like potentially put more work into these applications, even though the final decision isn't going to be mine. So it isn't fully a personal goal in that sense. And the last one in this category is summer programs. So kind of similar to college. I was just thinking, I'm other than NYUSA, if I were to not get in, I have a pretty long list of summer programs other than NYUSA that I'm applying to. So I guess getting in some of them, if I apply to them, would be a goal, but we'll see how that goes. So these next couple of goals are just kind of goals for my first semester of college, since it's really coming up soon. So first thing I wrote down is that I definitely want to make kind of a new friend group in college, especially if I go somewhere new. I mean, I'm gonna have to, but I want to find people that I click with fast, which obviously you're not gonna find your soulmate for the next 4 years like in the first week of college. It's more complicated than that. Sometimes like there's people in high school that I've become friends with this year, and it just happens to be like that. So I'm not expecting anything, but I just want to meet people I click with, and I want to meet a lot of new people, which I mean, it's probably something I would have it anyway, so it's not the greatest goal, but it's just kind of an intention, I guess, in that sense. Like, I intend to meet a lot of new people, make new connections, and make a lot of really wonderful memories with new friends during college, which is coming up remarkably soon. But my next kind of goal, and I actually didn't write this down, but I was just thinking about it, is that during my first semester, I want to try a lot of new clubs, depending on where I go. So just some things I wanted to try before are like figure skating. I don't know how that would work out, but I just wanted to like actually learn. And then I even wanted to like learn my parents' languages. Like that's what I used for one of my Princeton essays. Like it's like a prompt where you're like, oh, what do you want to like learn new in college? And I talked about that. And something else, I've seen like dance groups, like that seems so fun. And I've seen a cappella groups too, which I'm not like a singer, but I feel like they sound so good. So we'll see. I'm just listing out a bunch of things I might try, you know. Definitely I want to get involved in like kind of community clubs too, since my school isn't extremely big and diverse enough in the academic sense, or among like the more academic people, that we can have these like types of clubs. But I feel like a lot of universities actually have these sorts of clubs, so that's something I'd like to participate in. And my last sort of college-oriented goal is just graduating. Oh, this is kind of going back to, I want to get all A's this semester, which I don't think it's going to be hard, and definitely 5 on any AP exams I take, which I'm taking Physics C, Electricity and Magnetism, and I might take Microeconomics and maybe Gov too. We'll see. I haven't like given it that much thought. US Gov. And my college related portion of that goal is getting through my first semester of college with all A's, or depends what school I go to, because some like MIT just have like pass no record. So I just want to do well my first semester of college. I want to start strong so I can, and I think I have really good systems in place for doing well in school. I just need to implement those in college and refine them if I'm needed to refine them. My last goal for this year is about my YouTube channel actually. I set a goal of having 10,000 subscribers, so we'll see how that goes. I feel like it's gonna depend on college definitely, since I mean, if we're being for real, I would probably have a better chance at making popular college content if I were to attend a more prestigious or famous university. But I mean, you never know. So I definitely am excited for the university vlogs coming up. And I feel like even my college decision reaction could get a lot of views, like regardless of what happens, just because I applied to so many prestigious institutions. And I guess like kind of related to that, I am also gonna make like a guide for like getting 5s on all your AP classes, and since I did that, that might also get highly viewed, hopefully. I honestly don't know exactly what I'm gonna say for that though. I still need to figure it out because I don't feel like I was the most consistent in my AP prep, my 4 years of high school. But yeah, that's actually all for this video, guys. So if you want, leave a comment down below on how you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts about my ins and outs for this year, if you have similar ins and outs, if you have similar goals, I want to hear all of it, and I would really appreciate having a in-depth discussion in the comments. Oh, if you got to this point in the video, comment down a great emoji. I literally just came up with that randomly. It has no significance. Bye.